Hi there, my amazing artists. Ms. Pelavon here to show you how to finish your popsicle painting that we had started last class. So you are going to be painting the wall behind the popsicles to start class, and we're going to be using whites to mix some tints. So you're going to start by drying off your brush using the paper towel, just like we did last time. Because we're still using the tempera paint, you want to make sure that there's no water in your brush because this paint hates water. And then you're going to be putting on some colors around your popsicles. So when you're choosing colors, you want to make it very different from the colors that are inside the popsicles so they stand out. So I think I'm going to use some green around this one. And I'm just putting a little bit of color on there. Not making it too neat, because I'm going to mix the color with it in just a second. Then I'm going to clean my brush and dry it off, making sure that all that green is gone because I don't want to get green in that white paint for the rest of my table. And now I'm going to put some white paint on top of the green to make that color lighter. So we're changing the value of the green paint to make it a different value. I'm being careful not to paint inside my popsicle. Oops, I wasn't very careful. Holding the brush so that the straight edge doesn't paint over top of that popsicle or on the table part yet. Now you're going to get to use a couple of different colors. I don't want to use this green over here because this is green too, so I'm going to make another color. So I'm going to clean my brush and I'm going to use another color around this popsicle. And you can use however many colors you want. Just try to remember that you have to mix white with them for the wall. So I'm going to do that really quickly. I think I'm going to do some blue around this one. So remember, just put that color down to fill in the space. Clean your brush. I think cleaning your brush probably takes the longest during this part. And drying off your brush so that you don't mix up the paint. And then putting the white on top, creating a tint of that blue. So when you add white to a color, it creates a tint. And we've talked about this a little bit before when we were making other artworks, but I wanted to review it with you since we were talking a little bit about color. I thought it'd be a good time to experiment with some different colors. Ooh, look there, I mixed my blue and my green together. That looks neat. Alright, now I'm going to put my last color over here. I'm going to use some purple. Purple and yellow are opposites, so they would look very, very different from each other. So I'm going to use some violet over there. Color down quick. Fill in the space. Clean my brush. And then put some white on it. Now notice how I'm spreading out all my paint so that I'm not having any big blobs left on that wall. This will help my paint dry better, and it helps me clean my brush too because I don't have big lumps and bumps of paint left on my brush when I'm cleaning it. I'm trying not to be wasteful when I'm using the paint because we don't have a lot of paint and we need to share, so we need to take our time. So there we go, there's the wall part. Next we're going to move on to the bottom part here, and we're going to create it kind of in the style of a wooden table later, but we just want to get some brown on it to start. You can mix the brown with a little bit of white if you want, or you can just do plain brown. But remember, use the same technique. Put some brown down, then add some white if you like. So I'm going to start with that. This might take a while, and you might use a lot of paint, so just keep dipping. And remember to be careful around your popsicles, being really, really careful to control that brush. I'm holding my brush on the handle, making sure that I'm not getting my fingers in the danger zone because we're not washing them. And I'm spreading out my paint very, very effectively so that I know when I need more paint. If you're brushing your paint on your paper and nothing is moving, like it's just white like that, then you need more paint. If there's still globs of paint there, you don't need to get more paint yet. I'm just going to make my table just a plain brown to save some time. But like I said, you can put some white on it if you'd like to make it a lighter brown, kind of similar to the tables we have in the art room. Being very, very careful around my popsicle. So it's going to take me a little bit of time to get that done. Whew. I have to be really focused. Careful not to go in the wall or on the popsicles. Spreading out all my paint, getting it all off the brush. Then dipping again. Oops. Accidents happen. Guess I need to slow down a little bit. All right, now the last thing that you can do is paint your popsicle sticks. And for this one, you might want to use some orange and white to make them kind of a peachy color, or you can make them brown and white again, but just make sure that they look different from the table space. If you made your table space brown with white on it, you don't want to put brown and white for the popsicle sticks because then they would look the same and then they would camouflage, so they wouldn't look very good. So I'm going to do some orange with white to show you what that looks like, and then I will let you guys get started. I'm using a smaller brush for this because it's a smaller space. I will not give you the smaller brush until you finish painting your table though. So use that time wisely. So I just put a little bit of orange in each one. And if I do this quickly, then my paint won't dry out. Clean your brush, dry it off. That's very important. Don't skip that step. I think I might put some brown in here too, because that doesn't look very tan to me. I'm going to put a little bit of brown on here too, because they don't look very much like popsicle sticks yet. I think it needs to be a little bit darker. All right, there you have it. Your popsicle sticks are all done. Then you can put your paper on the drying rack. Make sure you bring your messy mat back to the drying rack too, because it might have some paint on it. I have some brown paint down at the bottom that you can't really see very well, right about there, that needs to dry, so I don't want to leave that in the pile. Your paint tray can stay on the blue tray. Your brushes go back into the water bucket, and then you are all finished with your artwork for the day.